Hi and welcome to this weekend of LaneSmash. Today's opponents are WFAT versus GETR on the Zots to Mulak lane. Just going to quickly shoot over to the TR side to see what their kind of force composition is. Seeing that they have the usual mass mosquitoes, ESF, presumably either to fight in the air or just to land on point. Not many vehicles from the TR side. Just going to quickly scoot over to the NC. The game's just about to start. We had some technical difficulties, so hopefully my sound is still working.
I think you sound great, but I'm biased.
I have been drinking, so bear with. So VS don't seem to have that much air from what I can see.
1 minute.
With 1 minute to go, VS quite invested in what Peter harasses and Sundras, not seeing what sort of air units they have. With a minute to go, quite a few people still in the vehicle bay. Hopefully they can get over the start line in time.
Well, there may be a plan there. Those may be vehicles that they've spawned using their nanites for infantry players and maybe keeping there in case a vehicle is destroyed.
So out of the two teams, I know that WFAT, or the Winchesters as I like to be known, has essentially played this lane quite a lot. So I'm quite interested to see if they have learned from their mistakes and their victory in this lane.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mit Start.
And we are off. VS do have some snipe, but probably not as many as TR are about to bring into this fight.
Tell me a little bit about these teams. I don't think I'm familiar with either one.
I'm not too sure about GETR, but I spectated a lot of the WFAT games, especially on this lane. From what I know about WFAT, they are well experienced in this lane. But GETR, I'm not too sure, if I'm honest.
All right, cool. Good to know. This is how we learn.
ESF's landing on the Ziggurat in typical WFAT style via crashing onto the ground managed to drop off their payload infantry. Beacons have already no signs of VS. Even though VS have this base, VS population on Little Maya Gardens, but not a considerable amount. VS infantry getting mowed down on the bridges, leaving spawn by the copious amounts of TR Banshee mosquitoes.
Well, there's one in every bunch. Unfortunately, I cannot see the fight right now. I'm having a bit of a technical difficulty, so I'm just taking your word for it that it's epic and amazing.
VS Maxes and Sundras getting held at bay on the outskirts of the Ziggurat, announcing their position to any would-be patrolling mosquito. WFAT pretty much early on asserting their air dominance, holding quite an aggressive defense of the Ziggurat. VS have yet to really spawn in to cancel last. VS are making a push on the southern side of the Ziggurat, getting intercepted by the TR's aggressive defense of the stairs.
I do love this map. It's not a crazy difficult map, but it is very, very open to that air spam.
quite an odd composition by the VSC. I've never seen harassers and sunderers and maxes dedicate themselves to dedicated anti-air. That's quite a sizable portion of the VS population. Although they may be fighting the air, they aren't really doing much on the ground. But once they thin out the TR mosquitoes from the air, they may be able to push onto the point uncontested. With 1 minute to go on the cap, TR still holding the high ground and VS are still trickling in. Still mosquitoes hinder the VS pushes. The VS anti-air nest not really making that much of an impact. Hopefully we see the VS Sunderer deploying the garages and perhaps like a max push or a big infantry push, which I'm hoping to see that we are seeing now as the max has changed from anti-air to more infantry related weaponry. Forming up in the garage, 20 seconds on the clock. Can they push up onto the point in time? I feel it may be a little bit too late for this. If the TR Mozzies manage to scout, or any of the infantry manage to scout this little VS push coming up the hill, TR seem to be very complacent on focusing on the north side of this base. VS going up the middle, about to get sandwiched. Maxes don't react.
Alright, nice work. They've gotten the cap, but it looks like the VS still wants to try and make this stick, which I totally understand.
With the VS push getting decimated on the stairs, very unfortunate for VS there.
Well, the question is, do they have somebody at the next base starting the next cap? And based on what I'm seeing, I would suspect that they do, just because this point is not flipping. Even though we've got, well, they're kind of dead, so that's probably why. Excellent use of those Mercy Maxes. Oh.
TR already on point at Zot Agricultural Lab.
No, I just got booted from the account I was on. That's fantastic. Good fight while it lasted.
WFAT already bringing the harassers and force multipliers toward the point, and so have the VS, but will their harassers beat the TR harassers? Having seen WFAT's previous games, it won't be long until they start to get Sunderers onto this capture point. It's in the VS's best interest to dislodge TR off of this point as soon as possible. But as we see them now getting corralled into the dish building, getting picked off by light assaults, completely oblivious to the TR light assaults around them. With 2 minutes on the clock, VS still have plenty of time to formulate a push onto the capture point.
Well, the big question is can they secure the back cap? That's always my question. I admit I'm consistent. Oh, good. I think I've been allowed back onto the server. Thanks, Papa Reltor.
Leave the restricted area immediately. Clear out of that area. This area is restricted. You are in a restricted area.
Sorry to leave you hanging, Johnson. Not what I wanted to do. Welcome to 2020. Maybe we can uninstall this version because I think it has a virus.
The coronavirus. The TR WFAT doing what they've done in several other games where they've managed to get a decent amount of maxes up. The TR harasses still harassing the spawn room. TR pushing out to the dish building, effectively keeping the VS at bay, but this is the time now where VS could make a push, wipe out the majority of TR in this building and make a good push onto point. Seven seconds on the cap. It's looking like another base to WFAT. Do they have people in the biolab good to go?
The Republic has taken the facility.
TR already spilling into the biolab, making a push for a VS quick on the redeploy there, themselves pushing into the SU generator and the generator building, bypassing what is the closest capture point. Hopefully we see both teams connect in the banana building, which I think is about to happen, with VS setting up on the B point, TR pushing across the double bridge, Max is leading from the front, Engineers not to be seen on these normal Max pairs. TR Max is making entrance, VS waiting for them on long corridor. Will we see some C4? Will we see some red grenades?
Oh wow, and this Mozzie sticking its little nose in on the pad here. That's gotta be annoying. Oh, the use of Maxes, I gotta say, is pretty good. Were there any gentlemen's agreements as to what kind of equipment they could or couldn't use? Or
Not that I know of.
Because I mean, they did nerf pounders pretty hard at some point, so I'm always a little sad that they don't get used anymore.
TR Max is overextending, but they are making a push onto big stairs. Quite a good push by TR as the rest of TR follow in the wake of their Maxes. Will we see TR expand from this building into the B capture point and the C capture point? TR still holding the A point, but the A point is not even defended by WFAT. The VS haven't even... I stand correct, they are sending a guy to re-secure the A point, but will we see TR push onto the spawn room to envelop the spawn into a spawn camp? With 2 minutes 35. TR with the most population on this in this base. It makes me wonder where the VS are. VS rotating through the C point and assumedly into the generator room. TR moving around to decimate this VS push on the C build.
I hate the structure of this particular building just because it's just a grenade catcher. Fortunately, grenades are a huge expenditure of... oh, we've got zombies. We've got VS zombies.
Max goes down to a double team of VS knifers. Gets knifed in the back. Will we see TR get that heavy up? And the Max up. 1 minute on the count.
Watching this particular set of stairs from... or watching that square building from the small stair.
Still got this
It's just, I just hate that building. So there are plenty of medics who can toss grenades up there.
Clear out of that area.
I have my Windows key removed from my other keyboard, the noisy one, and I need to remove the Windows key from this keyboard as well.
Compromised generator destroyed.
40 seconds on the cap.
SCU critical.
I think what's going to be really interesting in this particular match is to see how GETR adjusts after the halftime period, because this is pretty rough to watch them get decimated like this.
Is this the best you have?
I don't know much about these outfits, unfortunately, and I'm curious to know if they are, primarily outfits that are doing things like vehicles or
15 seconds on the cap, and VS as hell trying to get the SU gen back in control when the points are the only thing that really matters at this point. Very weird priorities there when they really should put that effort into pushing onto the A point and buying that time.
oh,
The
dang.
Terran Republic has
I mean,
End
as
of
long as we
round.
talk.
And that is the end of the round. We see WFAT pretty much sprint through this round.
All players need to leave the continent.
All right, we're gonna reset. But GETR has an opportunity here, I think, to readjust their strategy and start over, because this was a pretty crushing defeat.
The Terran Republic has taken the facility.
I mean, that's my opinion. What do you think?
I may have to ask the refs if the population is correct, because it does feel like there's not that many VS, but I could be mistaken.
Generator repaired.
Do you copy me?
Sorry?
Okay, I was worried you didn't hear me. Sometimes audio is wonky on this machine.
It seemed that VS only really offered like token resistance in the beginning. It will be quite interesting to see if they manage to be more aggressive. I did like their anti-air push down the road because they did make progress, but I do feel like they invested way too much in the anti-air efforts and not as much on their ground effort. But it's always a double-edged sword. Do you focus on getting killed by banshees and lol pods, or do you actually do something about it? But hopefully we see the next game VS do a little bit better, because as we talk about morale and getting crushed pretty easy. But what I did see from both teams, that both teams did redeploy and react to the base captures pretty quick.
Well, this is sort of a lesson that I learned from dating, is that rejection is really just an opportunity to find a better match. And maybe they're going to find a strategy and tactical approach that's a better match for the opponent that they're up against. And maybe that's why I'm eternally optimistic. Doesn't work for everybody, and it doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt when you get crushed. Can you tell I'm an old lady? This is my old lady pearls of wisdom coming through. All right, so I think we're getting ready to reset. I don't know, how long was that intermission? Were they getting 10 minutes? Not enough to get all of their nanites back.
So I'm not going to show the starting composition of both teams until we are within the next 3 minutes of the start because of the stream delay. But I'm going to assume that WFAT, at the very least, they're going to pretty much do the exact same they did last time, but I'd like to see VS at least trying to contest them at the ziggurat.
No, the cigarette is a wonderful base. Unfortunately, it is very, very open to fire. I don't know. Did we ever go through and decide which bases were most and least difficult? Because I got to say, biolabs are pretty easy, especially when
The
you're-
thing about biolabs is that
Can now join their home base. The teams can now join their home base.
with your teams now coming back onto continent, yeah, biolabs. Biolabs are essentially very easy to capture, but they are also that kind of circumstantial base where you either invest manpower to spread it out between 3 capture points and cap it quick, or you're so much of a lead that you just decide to turtle up on, say, the A point or the generator room, as we've seen in previous games. Because biolab is pretty easy to capture, but I think that even VS could have put a little bit more pressure into the capture points there. It does. We've seen in previous games where biolabs just become a ringer rosy, where the teams will chase an infiltrator or a light assault who's capping the other 2 points, and it just ends up being not a very cohesive effort by both teams, and at that point they know they've already lost, and it's quite demoralising to see. But hopefully we see this round VS managed to push WFAT and really put the pressure on, because from what we've seen in previous games, although WFAT are very good at redeploying and bringing force multipliers in, when they've had constant pressure and constant, contest or points, it does kind of put them on the back foot. But we have seen from the last 2 WFAT games that they have managed to essentially do really well at pushing and pushing and pushing, especially with their max pairs. As we just wait for the referee to announce how many minutes until the match starts. Once I know I'm in within the 3-minute limit, I'll then start to show you guys literally what both teams have in store in terms of vehicles. And
I'm on Hassan. Great for when you're playing info, but terrible for all this video on demand that we're generating. I'm streaming on my personal channel. I'm Graham Hook. I'm one of the admins. People are asking. I'm also old enough to be her mother. Probably why I sound like her. And yeah, so I'm interested to see if we see a change in strategy. That's probably the biggest thing that I'm going to be looking for.
So the match will start now in 3 minutes. So I'm going to give it a minute, and then I'm going to head over to both of the faction starting bases, and we'll see what they've got.
Too bad we can't change it today just for the match, but I'm sure there are plenty of infos out there who would be very, very sad. Like me, running around with my SMG.
This time around we see WFAT in the north and GETR in the south.
I appreciate all the environmental effects. Oh gosh, I don't know if this is going to affect anything, but there's this huge rock of cordium behind Zotz. I don't know if you're seeing this. I'm sure you are.
Behind Zot.
It's massive. I mean, if I was a sniper, I would sit up there and just pick people off all day.
So while I'm looking at the Zot's Biolab, it's going to WFAT again have invested quite a lot into their ESF makeup, primarily probably divided into people who are going to fight in the air, people who are just going to bail onto point and get a beacon up.
Oh, they got it! Thank goodness. The that huge block of cordium is gone.
1 minute 30 seconds.
1 minute 30 seconds until match start. WFAT, as the previous round, quite a heavy use of ESF. Not many vehicles to be seen. I'm going to try and scoot over to GETR and hopefully we can see what they have, and hopefully they've invested on a little bit more ESF to give them that advantage that they need.
Yeah, I'm seeing this whole air squad over here of these mosquitoes, so that's oh, and it's daytime. Yay!
So VS now having a lot more sives on the tech plant roof. So hopefully we start to see that usual LaneSmash or service smash start, where it's just a general fight for air dominance. No sign of any sort of VS vehicles this time around. Probably a change of tactics where they just decide to take on the Mosquitoes with their ESFs and rather from the ground. We do see Sunderer and Harasser, so maybe they haven't changed their tactics. Maybe they've switched out their maxes for Skyguards, which I seen that they have. So 3 Skyguards, 1 anti-air Harasser and an anti-air Sunderer. Hopefully we see these vehicles make a big impact and decimate the ESFs from the TR side and allow VS to make a push.
Yeah, my suspicion is that they're playing to their strengths. If this is an outfit that specializes in ground vehicle things or is primarily active in ground vehicle things, this is the force multiplier that's going to make the difference for them, or at least that they have judged is going to make the best difference.
They did well the first round to essentially alleviate the drama with the Banshee Mozzies, but they didn't give that capability for the ground troops to manage to make a push because they were so invested in that anti-air nest. But hopefully the Skyguards alone can essentially pick up that slack where the maxes were the previous game, and probably to more effect. My prediction is that WFAT are probably going to drop first onto Nettelmeyer Gardens, and having seen WFAT in previous games, I'm pretty sure I could probably ask the devs to get this map name changed to Winchester Gardens, because these guys must have discovered every single sun replacement, any sort of cheats for this map. They have pretty much played every single lane of this tournament so far on this lane.
1 minute to match start. 1 minute to match start.
1 minute to match start, and I see random explosions over the Ziggurat. TR Mosquito is waiting patiently, ready for the go. Will we see the ESFs overextend and into the opposing team's ESFs, or will we see them primarily bail?
As you know, we cannot cap points from inside of a vehicle, so I'm going to be hanging out right next to this point underneath Nettelmeyer. Let's see if somebody drops straight away. I know you're probably going to be checking out that airball as it collides with airball
10.
from the opposing team. And everybody knows how
5,
painful
4,
colliding balls can be.
3, 2, 1. Second round starts. Second round starts.
And as we enter the second round, we see ESFs from the TR already on the Ziggurat and already moving on to Nettelmeyer Gardens. Both air forces pretty much crisscrossing into one another.
I got one heavy on the point. He's already taking out. Let's see if this guy. So we've got a 2v2, 3v2. Right, forces are amassing here at the A point at Nettelmeyer Gardens. VS have the hold right now, but I don't know how much longer that's going to last.
Will we see? Who will we see get the capture point first? TR already contesting the capture point at Nettelmeyer Gardens. VS leaving a few people to try and defend the point. Unfortunately, don't manage to hold them off. We see the VS anti-air column coming into the area. A lot more Skyguards than I originally saw, focusing on the anti-air presence. But as we don't see many TR Mosquitoes left, with the majority of the pilots bailing out onto the capture point, will we see VS leave these vehicles and redeploy as infantry?
Well, I'm seeing excellent control by these Banshee Mossies, taking out the GETR folks as they're trying to get to the point from the spawn here at Nettelmeyer Garden. Most of the TR are actually out defending and not underneath that tree, sitting on the point. But they've got 3 minutes and 11 seconds left. Now 9 seconds. Oh my god, time just keeps ticking away. And let's see if the air keeps doing its job, but we have quite a formidable force here, and a harasser, force multipliers always. Taking out the spawns for the VS so that they have to hoof it all the way from that native spawn here.
VS have a lot of lightning, but they are contesting the multiple TR harassers trying to find a way into the base itself.
Oh, that's probably the worst joke I've heard in a long time, but I like it. Got somebody in Twitch chat telling dad jokes. I appreciate that. Remind everybody to call your dad. We just celebrated Mother's Day. Don't let your dad think you've forgotten about him. Even if it's just your space dad.
VS now making a push on the western side of the A point itself.
Oh, so the harasser that they brought on the point for the TR is one of them's empty, the other one's still occupied. Oh, there's a third harasser, solo harasser for the TR. This is a lot of cheese. I kind of like it.
But for the amount of mosquitoes still in the air, to the VS Skyguard ratio, it seems that they've not really made that much of an impact. Because the mosquitoes are still annoying any sort of VS regrouping.
Well, there's a lot of this soft cover. All these trees are, if you can fly through them, it definitely confounds any effort by that AA to try and
TR bringing prowlers down the main road, decimating what VS Skyguards remain. Mosquitoes joining the fray. But hopefully that wipe of their vehicles will now see VS infantry used on resecuring this base with 1 minute left on the timer. TR on the point, quite a light effort, several maxes and max pairs.
Oh, this lucky guy's got time to actually rep his prowler, because that's a huge expenditure of nanites. I am heading over to Ziggurat because they're going to cap soon, and I'm wondering if there's anybody sneaking around this point. Hello?
35 seconds on the timer here at Nelmeyer Gardens.
I don't see any hard spawns deployed here. Oh, I see a harasser leaving the site of the Ziggurat. Maybe they were dropping somebody off to deploy some beacons or something.
Max is leaving the safety of the A point, pushing the VS.
Well, if they're smart, they will have a bus ready for these, or at least put them in the back of the harasser to transport the maxes to the next base, because that expenditure of nanites is nothing to sneeze at. Those force multipliers make
3 seconds on the cap, and this base goes through to WFAT.
The Terran Republic has taken the facility.
I'm really curious as to what they're going to do with these maxes. I see this one max running back towards the spawn. Maybe they're planning on pulling a bus for him, or...
We have seen WFAT previously keep their maxes on the capture point of the previous base, waiting for galaxies to come pick them up, but from the games that I've seen previously, they aren't very successful in that, so hopefully we see an improvement on that.
So I'm reading the Twitch chat. I don't think anybody should be banned for telling dad jokes ever.
VS making an early defense of Moonlight Foundry, already on point, waiting for those TR to try and snuggle their way onto point. TR harassers already trying to gain entrance onto the A point.
Well, the VS is, I mean, they are set up, but they're not taking advantage of this high ground here. There are a lot of great little places for light assaults and snipers to perch if you can get yourself up there. Oh gosh, I've got a harasser coming up the stairs from the basement.
TR Thunder is already moving into the base. No doubt we'll see the Thunderers go up the stairs and onto A point and help TR push onto the catch point itself.
Well, the harasser made an excellent distraction because the TR came in and did a bunch of shooting of people in the back while they were focusing it, but I think the VS still have their hold here on the point for the moment. It looks like the tides are turning, unfortunately, for the VS.
TR managed to wipe out the defenders on the capture point itself.
Excellent. They've got their force multiplier in a, what is it, double cobalt bus? I hope it's double cobalt bus. Yep.
TR Prowl is waiting for this push to come out this spawn room.
Hopefully they've got a rep bus in the basement to make sure that this blockade bus stays in good shape. So nobody's complained about the clackiness of my keyboard, so at least I'm getting that one right. Alright, so we've got a big group of VS pouring out of the main spawn. Or is that the auxiliary spawn?
VS switching through the spawn room teleporter, pushing the south doorway. TR Prowler, not very happy that he couldn't get those kills, now joins the fray.
Well, they have a healing grenade up, but it was not enough to give that group of VS the staying power they needed to get on the point. I mean, a well-timed res grenade could work since the force is sort of spread out, but I don't know if it would make the difference that the VS really needs here.
VS bringing in Sunderers from the ammo tower. Hopefully we see a Sunderer spawn on the southern side.
I do like this base. It's fun to fight here.
TR moving to destroy these Sunderers.
Yeah, this is a big expenditure from nanites. Very risky for the VS. But this is the Hail Mary that they need because they're already behind several points. These heroic measures make a lot of sense given the situation that they're in. Those Mozzies are still absolutely wrecking these poor VS. How many Mozzies are still up even? I would go check, but So these harassers are an excellent distraction. Everybody's focused on the harasser and the Mozzies just come in and destroy these poor buses. I mean, the AMS is the original tank in this game as far as I'm concerned.
TR well established on the capture point with 3 Sunderers overlooking the capture point itself. A mix of Cobalt Basilics, not to mention the force multiplying Spitfires and the copious amount of Maxes, which are pretty much a hallmark of, from what I've seen from WFAT.
Nothing like a deployable BR-10 to watch your back. Alright, so we've got another push from this auxiliary spawn. I've got half a dozen VS. I don't know if this push is going to go better than the other one. Those force multipliers are still up. Is that a Bulldog? Yep, we've got a Bulldog on that harasser. I mean, not the greatest DPS. I'd put a Fury on it. But I mean, even the Marauder is amazing on the versus infantry, at least. But, I mean, good choices all. If it's working, it's working. Yep, all of those VS are now napping in the dirt. We have a couple of VS hanging out in the spawn. I cannot go in there.
Not a lot of heavies on the VS side here. A few decimators would nuke these prowlers and harassers.
You are in a restricted area.
Indeed, and ammo is free. Putting down tank mines costs nanites.
5 seconds on the cap.
Alright, we are due for a tech plant fight. Who's ready? I'm gonna head over there and see if there's anybody hanging out on the point, if they're setting up any spawns. We have VS already congregating.
VS really quick again on the redeploy to the capture point.
So they're setting up on the balcony, which I think is what anybody would do if they're defending this particular tech plant or any other. Let's see if they've got any spawns beyond using that rabbit hole.
TR Mosquito comes in onto the roof. No doubt to drop some sort of infiltrator lattice onto the point. We see TR Galaxies in the background, presumably coming in to pick up the Maxes, which are probably going to get used and then push onto the point. Having seen previous WFAT Galaxy pickups, I'm keen to see what happens.
So I've got both teams, or both of the sort of split groups of this VS force split on either side of the balcony. So they're anticipating being flanked through these X and Y doors up here at the tech plant. And true to form, TR is approaching both. Well, let's see how many people we've got out here. This looks like half a squad hanging out on the balcony of TR, slowly working their way through these VS that have set up on the balcony.
Where will we see this TR Galaxy land? Will we see him land on top, middle, or balcony? It seems that the fight for the A point is already underway inside the tech plant itself. TR already having beacons up on the northernmost leg of the tech plant. Galaxy landing on the middle of the tech plant. TR already inside. Squad drop on the middle balcony, heading towards the balcony. TR already on the balcony, already getting contested by the VS defenders on the balcony itself. TR already on point, harasses VS getting sandwiched. As we see this squad drop onto balcony, we will see VS essentially get sandwiched in the middle and most likely decimated, giving TR complete control of this facility.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of a sloppy execution of the pincer maneuver, but it's clearly working for them.
Well played to the few VS maxes on the balcony. They managed to hold.
Did I just not notice the maxes before? I think they may have just come up the bunny hole.
VS doing really well to hold that balcony from that squad push, but they need to focus now on the renewed TR push coming from the big gun.
Well, they've got to get on the point if they want to make a difference. That's the bottom line.
But while VS have that height advantage, they can try and pick up a few TR while pushing down. But as we saw with the Galaxy coming in, TR still have the squad beacon above them right now, so we're going to start seeing the odd TR pushing in from balcony and hitting these maxes because they can't defend both locations at once.
Oh, that's the run overkill. Well done, harasser. So we have one lone VS max going onto the point. He's murdered 2 people. He's followed up by a couple of infantry, but it's not going to be enough. The max is down. Those infantry are not going to make it.
The VS on the balcony slowly get killed off with the Redmonds hiding behind a container. VS quickly managing to re-secure the balcony. TR Resonate going off. Can this max keep these people down?
If only, but resecuring the balcony isn't enough. They've got to get bodies on the point. Yes,
And the max goes down.
the cap. They do have 5 minutes, which is an eternity in planetside time. But they gotta focus eyes on the prize. Is this an abandoned lightning down here? Yup. And this mosquito is debating whether or not to destroy it. And we've got plenty of force multipliers on the point. We've got harassers, we've got maxes for the TR. Okay, we've got a push amassing from the bunny hole in the vehicle bay. But it's getting camped. They're just shooting skeet here. Well, let's... Oh no, that poor guy.
TR already setting up Sunderers to watch that hole in the ground. VS still pushing through it, despite the fact they know it's capped.
Oh no. I mean, it's just such a... I don't know, if it was me, I would run back towards this outbuilding and come in through the drive-through.
The capture point is not that well defended. Only a few infantry and 1 max unit defending the big gun, with the majority of the TR trying to hold that vehicle bay. But as we see the VS push get decimated, hopefully we see the TR reconfigure themselves to the balcony and the big gun, waiting for that potential VS push.
So somebody's asking in chat if this was a stomp, and I hate to say it, I would call this a stomp.
Don't give up. We're still in it.
the good news is everybody learns from these experiences and takes what they learn at these matches that don't go well to the next match. And like I said before, rejection is just an opportunity to find a better match in terms of strategies and tactics.
A TR light assault is peeking into the VS spawn room, trying to see if they go for the tunnels or not. Quite good scout work by that TR light assault there.
All right, so we've got another push from the balcony by the VS. The TR has a sizable force there. They, I think, dropped from a beacon. Did they drop from a beacon? I don't see the VS beacon here. They probably dropped from some other air vehicle, but they're already all dead, except for this lone infiltrator who's about to get rocket potted to death.
The mosquitoes come in there. They can smell that infantry on that balcony, and they came running.
I mean, I appreciate the heart that these folks have. They certainly have not given up in terms of trying to take this back, measuring new tactics, and discovering that the consequences are pretty grave. Big expenditures of nanites.
2 minutes on the capture point, we see the VS in the main spawn room. Has the light assault remained on his post to see where they're going to go? Will they go tunnel? Will they go overland? 2 minutes is not a very long time to fight for the capture point.
Definitely not in the base this big. So the interesting thing is I have not seen a lot of use of recon darts or motion sensors. And that's always curious for me. I know a lot of people crutch on those in terms of, pre-firing around corners and stuff, but I suppose the ping is not a big issue when you've got the server to yourself. More dad jokes in chat. Oh, goodness. Hey, if it brings you happiness, so be it. All right, so it's very quiet here at Mulak Tech Plant. I wonder what the VS are plotting. Are they plotting?
1 minute 20 on the capture point. Where is the VS pop? The VS population on this base is 10% compared to the TR 87%. Are they coming in galaxies? Oh, we see several VS galaxies hurtling towards the base. Will we see a resecure in this final minute? Will we see the mosquitoes react to this? Will they notify the people on the balcony? Several galaxies, a few Valkyries, maybe 2 galaxies, too many. This seems to be...
Wow, that isn't...
Maybe these galaxies are decoys for the horde of galaxies that are coming in. 45 seconds on the clock. Not one of them have landed yet. Quite an interesting strategy for VS. Will we see it pay off? Are they just pulling Galaxy for the sake of pulling Galaxy, or are they going to drop?
The guns don't seem to be moving. I don't think these are manned. I think these are, as you say, I mean, they pulled 6, but why?
15 seconds on the clock.
I mean, I don't know if they thought everybody was going to come outside with their rockets, but...
TR just as confused as we are. 3 seconds.
Alright, nice work, WFAT.
End of match, end of match.
And that is the end of match.
Congratulations for WFAT. 6-0.
Well, we gotta
The
get
team
everybody...
captains, please join the waiting for the interview channel for the post-game interview. Thanks.
Well, they certainly had us guessing at the last minute. I appreciate the congregation of friendly sky whales. I have to ask, which is your favorite sky whale horn? Is it the foghorn or the actual whale noise? Or the toilet flush? That's a good one too.
I mean, it has to be the whale. I mean, it wouldn't be a sky whale without a whale horn, and any other sort of horn is blasphemy in my eyes.
But what about the fail sauce horn?
No, it has to be the whale.
There you go.
But
Right.
whale or bust. So as we wait now for the team captains to come to the channel, just going to see how they are.
I am so ready. Let me swap over.
User left your channel. Channel switched.
Hey.
Great.
User joined your channel.
Hey guys.
Hi, Dots.
Hello,
there.
Dots.
So, guys, that was the players to watch. So we'll start off with WFAT. So that game, you've had quite a number of experiences on this lane so far this season. From my perspective, I've seen that you've pretty much had the same force composition as last time. But is there anything different we've not seen that I didn't manage to capture?
Not really too much. The formula's the same. Just had a few different people in terms of numbers shifting around. Had a couple more in our, couple more people bringing maxes. A few less people in the air.
So we saw you pretty much play quite aggressively again. Were you expecting to advance as quick as you did, or?
No, not at all. Never turning up to a game expecting a win or a lose. Really, good play to the whistle.
So I'm curious, did you guys have any scrims beforehand, or was this your first time going up against
User
GETR
joined your
on
channel.
Jaeger?
This is the first time I think we've encountered GETR on Jaeger. But this is our fourth match in a row on this lane. So
Yeah, you guys have played this lane quite a lot, and
yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty close to asking the devs if they can rename Nettlemire Gardens to Winchester Gardens or something, because you guys essentially live on this lane officially now, in my eyes.
I'd like that change. That'd be really nice.
So, GETR, first of all, commiserations. How do you guys feel that game went?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for the great match, and the Emperor won't be proud of us this time. So it was a great match. We had a good time and had some fun and pushed as much as we could. And yeah, was a good game. Quick game, but it was a good game.
Do you guys feel like you were going to walk away today with like something learned?
Yeah, we learn every time, like last time, and we learned a lot, and we will work on that for the next two matches, and we will see how we come up on the next matches.
So what are your strategies for the meantime? Because I don't know. We don't have stats yet. Halot usually brings those in terms of headshot ratios and numbers of revives and everything. Those I think will certainly be helpful. What are you anticipating from when you rewatch any of the video on demand?
Yeah, I hope we can make our platoon composition a little bit more through the LaneSmash setup ready, and push it a little bit harder. We are half focused on vehicles and anti-air stuff and infantry, but we have to make some little tweaks here and there, and then I think we will be fine for the next two matches. So yeah, we will see.
So your next opponents, I'm looking at the schedule now, is YLBT on the next weekend, Lane 3, Crux to Crux. What's your predictions for the next round?
Yeah, we will come up with our setup and we will train hard the next week again, and we will push it to the limit as much as we can.
I'm excited to see that, Matt.
And WFAT yourself, your next opponent is Dump, which I believe is a Connery outfit. Supposedly a pile of shitters by their own logo. What's your prediction for that?
Well, it's on a different lane, so honestly...
Yeah, it'd be quite interesting to see how you guys leave your garden this time around.
We're really going to struggle, yeah. Like a homing pigeon back to Nettlemire.
What's your strategy when you train? Do you participate in OVO or pickups, or do you just play together on live as a cohesive group?
We run some internal sort of drills, I guess, on Jaeger. splitting up, people trying out different roles, and then we'll chat about what was good, what was bad, then try and implement them again. I don't think it's particularly special or worth watching, but it's done as well thus far.
Well, I mean, hindsight's always 20/20, and when you win, we call it confirmation bias. So I'm curious, are there any matches that you're looking forward to that you think that you're the underdog?
I'm gonna refrain from being too specific on that. I don't know. Ratto, Phil, any particular?
No, I wouldn't say that. We've
when-
played the TMNT. This was the last team we're meeting in the group stage. We played them and we beat them in the practice game, so we wouldn't necessarily go into underdog status there. That team as well beat the next team we're playing, so which would not put us in underdog status. So no, I think we'll be the favorites going into both the next games.
Stop being so awesome. Well, thank you everybody for coming out. It was a very entertaining match to watch. Tough at times, but welcome to PlanetSide.
Yeah, thank you everyone. We highly appreciate it. It was a great game, and thank you for all the LaneSmash stuff. You guys doing a great job. Keep it up. So see you next time.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you, GETR.
Yeah,
Thanks
cheers.
for the cast. Thanks to casters.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Later on.
User
So-
disconnected from your channel.
It's the guys in the
User
to the
disconnected
viewers
from
and
your
in
channel.
chat.
User left your channel.
I'll wait for everyone to leave the channel, and no doubt you'll
User
hear
disconnected
everyone
from your
disconnecting
channel.
right now. I'm just going to quickly, before I close this stream, is just go over the matches for the rest of the weekend.
User left your channel.
As tomorrow we have 2 matches tomorrow. 1400 UTC, May the 16th, we have YLBT versus TMNT. And also tomorrow at 2100 UTC, we have PTSD versus Voon. Followed by 2 matches on Sunday. 1400 Cobalt Terrans versus CLCL, and 2000 hours OP versus GSG.
All right, looking forward to seeing everybody in channel on the PlanetSide Battles Twitch stream. And thanks for the dad jokes, the comments, the questions, and happy Friday, everybody.
So to
I know
both,
it's really just 5th Monday, but
so to both teams, thank you for coming and playing. It was a pleasure to watch, and to the viewers, thank you very much for coming to join us today. And hopefully we'll see some of you guys tomorrow. Thank you very much. Good night.
bye-bye.